Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 24th of June. With McShane, we're working our way through Matthew's Gospel. Today, we read the 4th chapter, which begins with the temptation of Jesus. He'd been baptized and was led into the wilderness, where the devil comes and tempts him. 3 temptations are recorded. He's tempted to turn stones into bread. He's tempted to use his miraculous powers to impress people. And he was tempted to follow Satan in order to win the kingdoms of the world. And in each of the cases, for each temptation, Jesus' response begins, "It is written." The first one, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." The second temptation, Jesus says, "It is also written." In the third temptation, Jesus answers, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Now, there are 2 things that come from this for me. Well, there are many things, but 2 things to comment on. The one is, if Jesus was tempted and yet was without sin, when we are tempted, and we will be, if he was, we will be, if we don't give in to the temptations, we haven't sinned. And sometimes the devil accuses us and says, "Oh, look at what you've been thinking. Look at the temptations you've had. Clearly, you're such a bad person. You must be a sinner." Jesus wasn't a sinner, and temptation doesn't make us a sinner. It's when we give in to temptation that we sin, and we need to just hold on to that. And the second thing, which I found quite wonderful, is that Jesus could have said to the devil, "I am the Son of God, and therefore I say," and resisted. But he said, "It is written." He relied on the scriptures. We haven't got Jesus' authority, but we do have his word. We do have the scriptures. And in the same way that Jesus could say to the devil, "It is written," we can say the same thing. It is written. We can go back to God's word and rely on God's word. And that's one of the great reasons for reading it regularly. It's one of the reasons why we're encouraged to commit certain verses to memory. Not just so that we can face temptation, but that in all of life, when we're facing trouble, when we're feeling depressed, when we're struggling with issues, when we're wondering what we need to do, when all the complexities of life, as we face them, we're not facing them alone. And as Jesus could fall back on, "It is written," we can do the same thing. And so we can, if we're thinking, "Oh, I'm not sure, does God love me?" fall back on, "I will never leave you nor forsake you. For God so loved the world that he sent his only Son." It is written. That is true. We can stand on that. That's that's the strength we have. It's not a strength in ourselves. It's a strength in what God has said. And we have the same scriptures Jesus had, plus we've got the New Testament. Wonderful resource for our life. It is a resource for Jesus. It can be a resource for us. What a blessing that is. So use the scriptures, stand on them, and know that as we do that, we are blessed. And then just a little note that I'll be away for a few days, so we'll pick up the Midday Mull again next week. Be blessed.